Hello, Long Point. I am recording another video for you on how to run the sales and inventory report. This report is a big comprehensive view at a subdivision or an area of town or a county, and it gives you number of sales, median sales price, average sales price, dollar per square foot, absorption rate, which they call months inventory, and a couple of other pieces of data. So how do you run the report? The first thing to do is to log into the MLS. Once you're logged into the MLS, you want to look for the Inventory and Production tab. If the Inventory Production tab is not at the top of your menu, you want to click on the menu button over here to the left where you have three little lines under the Flex MLS symbol. Click that and scroll down in the middle under Statistics. You'll see for mine, there is a yellow star next to Inventory and Production. And if you'll watch up here, where I have my cursor at the top, if I click the star, the Inventory and Production will go away. If I click the star again to make it yellow, now I have Inventory and Production at my quick button menu list. So, however you need to do it, get to Inventory and Production on the MLS. Once you're here, you have a plethora of options. I want you to scroll all the way down on the left-hand side and choose Sales and Inventory Report. Now this report is very sensitive, and as I mentioned before, this is a big picture view of an area of town, subdivision, something like that. You don't want to put too much data in here or too many restrictions in here because you will end up with too little data. This is great for when you're on floor duty, when you're heading to an open house, when you're running comps for a real estate review. Anything you want to do that's big picture, this is your go-to report because it gives you a ton of information to give you a really good idea of what's going on in the neighborhood. So the first thing you need to know is, because this is so sensitive, if you don't have an item checked on the left-hand side as well as something selected on the right-hand side, it will not pull that metric. So the first thing we want to do is property type. That's already checked, so that's good, but these gray boxes do not mean it's selected. So we want to choose residential. Now you can see that it's highlighted, it's selected, it's checked, we're good. It will use this as a metric. If you do not select residential, the report will still run, but it will not run the dollar per square foot piece of information into the data. And that's critical because that's a good piece of information. Next thing you have under here is subtype. If you want to choose attached or detached, that's up to you. I usually leave it apart unless it's really critical to the information that I'm looking for. So I usually leave it the way it is. I don't choose anything. Up to you. For the example purposes, I'm going to go down to subdivision. This is the one that you'll use most often. I'm going to do my subdivision that I live in, Oak Terrace Preserve. So the first thing I'm going to type is Oak Terrace. And then I'm going to do look up. You'll see here that I have two options. Again, I've got a check mark here, but I have nothing selected here. I'm looking for Oak Terrace Preserve, so I select it, and then I have to choose Add Selected. Good, I'm good there. I'm leaving everything else empty up here because, again, the less information I put in, the more data I will get out. I'm not choosing a subsection because, for one, my neighborhood doesn't have any. But if you're doing a neighborhood like Park West that's so big, it might be wise to put in a subsection. Up to you, but again, I'm leaving it blank for the example. The only other thing I may add in here is approximate square footage. If you have a neighborhood that has a huge spread of square footage, 1,000 square feet all the way up to 4,000, and the house you're doing this information for is about 2,500 square feet, then it might make sense to put in here a range of 2,000 square feet to 3,000. But again, if you don't have those criteria or stipulations, leave it blank. Scroll down, and the only other thing you're going to change on here, which you will always change every time, is the from date in the time span. The from date should read January of some year. That year is up to you. I like to go back 3 years to get a really nice history of what's happened in the neighborhood. But again, it's up to you. So I'm going to change this to January of 2015. Always start in January because going from a calendar year is a lot easier. If you are running this report in May, by default, this month will show May. So make sure you change it to January of whatever year you want to go back to. So before I hit next, I just want to summarize what I've got selected here. So from the top, I've got property type residential. You will always have that selected. I have nothing else until down to subdivision. I've got subdivision, Oak Terrace Preserve, and I have nothing else in here. No square footage, no bedrooms and bathrooms, no acreage, nothing. I changed my dates to January of 2015. I left the bottom date the way it is, and I hit next. And now I have my sales and inventory report. 2015 is the first month, all the data from that year. 2016 is the next year, all the data from that year. And 2017, all of the data from 2017. And then my year to date, which obviously I'm running this in January of 2018, so I don't have any data for the year to date. And then at the very bottom, it gives me the total sales and inventory report data from 2015 through now. So this gives you a ton of information. It's great for you to have at an open house. It's great for you to be able to pull up on the fly. Another video will show you how to read this report, but in general, all of it is self-explanatory. The most important stuff on here probably is price per square foot and months of inventory. That's your absorption rate. So keep in mind you're looking at the bottom line of each category for the total that year. And if you don't see a month on the left-hand side, that's because there was no inventory in that month. So this report is great for you to pull at any point in time, great for you to pull on floor duty so you can get the history of the neighborhood. If you forget your search parameters, it's listed here at the top. Use it for your knowledge purposes, use it for real estate review mailers, but don't send just this. Just this information is not good enough because most people won't understand it. So you're going to have to jot some notes on it and really get some descriptive definitions of what means what. That's it, guys. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.